Hello and welcome back to our lessons. In this video, we are going to learn how to use multiple conditions and conditions nesting. So let's create a new flow. Alright, so this is our flow name. Click OK. Great, so as usual, we are going to build our first element as a text element here. And let's name this as start. Next, we are going to configure this. Great, we have entered the text. Let's confirm the changes and we are going to add quick replies. For the first quick reply, we are going to trigger multiple conditions. And on the second quick reply, we are going to use conditions nesting. All right, let's first create multiple conditions. So I'm gonna add a condition element here and we are going to configure the condition and choose, for now, let's choose any. And I am going to use tag. So if the tag is buyer, and I'm gonna add another condition here. Let's say gender is male. We are now using any. It means that if the subscriber have a buyer tag or if the subscriber is a male, then this condition would become true. So let's confirm the changes. And for the true, I am going to say, okay, so on this reply message, we're saying, hey, first name, either you are a male or you have a buyer tag because we have set the condition to any. And here we are going to configure our failed or false reply. All right, so this is our false reply. So yo, first name, you are not a male and you do not have a buyer tag because this will only trigger if the user did not meet both of the criterias here. So we're going to add another condition here and let's use condition element. And for this one, we are going to use nesting. To better explain nesting, we can actually mimic the behavior of the multiple condition using conditions nesting. That is the best way to understand how the nesting works. So let's say I have any here and then the tag is buyer and we can add another condition here and choose condition and add here another entry. Let's say gender. Gender is male. As you can see, we have connected two conditions together. That's why it's called conditions nesting. For the response message, we are to configure this one. All right, so this is our response message. Hello, first name, you are a male and you have a buyer tag. So as you can see here, whenever the condition number 12 is true, so this is the condition number 12. This is what I'm talking about. If this is true, it means that the subscriber have a buyer tag. After this, the buyer will be evaluated again to see if the gender is male or female. And in this case, for true, because we are checking if the gender is male, for true, it means that the subscriber will only receive this message if the subscriber have met both criterias. The subscriber have a buyer tag and the subscriber is a male. So here, what if the subscriber did not meet the second criteria here? We can add a message here. So let's say, all right, so this is our response message. Hey, first name, you have a buyer tag, but you are not a male. Because as I have explained earlier, the subscriber will only reach condition number 14 if they have met the condition number 12. It means that the subscriber already have a buyer tag, but the subscriber did not meet the criteria of condition number 14, which is the buyer is male. So that's why on our response message, we are saying, hey, first name, you have a buyer tag, but you are not a male. And now for the false response, let's add another condition here and let's configure this. So let's just use any conditions are met and let's use gender is male. Okay, so as you can see, this is a complete copy of this. So if the subscriber have met the criteria for condition number 21, it means that, okay, let's send a message here. Let's compose the message. Okay, so this is our message. Good day, first name, you are a male, but you don't have a buyer tag. So since our subscriber have met this criteria because it is under the true response, it means that the subscriber is a male. But since this is a branch from the false response on this criteria or on this condition, so the subscriber does not have a buyer tag. So let's add another response here. For the false response for the condition number 21, we can add another message here. All right, so this is our response message. Hey, first name, you are not a male and you don't have a buyer tag because this message will only trigger if our subscriber did not meet both criteria. We have condition number 12 12 here that the subscriber must have a buyer tag. On the false response, it means automatically that the buyer does not have a buyer tag. And for condition number 21, our criteria is that the subscriber must have a male gender. So if the response is false, it means that the subscriber is not a male and did not meet the criteria about the buyer tag. So what is the difference between the multiple condition and the nesting? When you are using nesting conditions, as you can see, I can add more personalized responses here. I can send the message depending on the status of the user or the properties of the user. But here on the multiple condition, using multiple conditions, I can only send a message on the true response and the false response. So I don't have the same freedom and configurability as the nesting of condition. But I can also use multiple condition on each of the nesting conditions here. So I can add another condition here if I want to. But for the sake of lesson simplicity and for easier understanding, I just used single conditions for each of the conditions nesting here. So you can even nest another condition here if you want. Let's delete this. Let's add another condition here. So let's say I'm gonna use the subscriber name. It contains John. Let's say John. So since we have the third nested condition, and if this condition is true, it would mean that, let's compose our message. All right, this is our reply message. Hey, first name, you have a buyer tag and you are a male and your name have John. Because if the subscriber have received this message, it means that our subscriber have met all the criteria on our nested condition. So as you can see here, the buyer have a tag, it's true. The buyer is male, it's true. And the buyer have John, then it's true. So that's why the subscriber have met all the criteria here. So for this one, let's add a response message here for the false node. All right, so this is our response for the false node. Hey, first name, you have a buyer tag and you are a male, but your name does not have John because this criteria was not met. Okay, so now we are going to save this flow and let's have a test. All right, so let's send a test now. Great, we just received the message here. So let's trigger the multiple conditions first and let's see what's the result. All right, so as you can see, we have the result. Hey Calvin, you are either a male or you have a buyer tag. We used either here because on the condition of the flow, we use the any option, okay? Any one of the condition. But if we set the condition to be all here, all condition must be met. It means that the subscriber must have a buyer tag and the subscriber must be a male in order for this condition to be true. Let's confirm the changes, add a trigger here so that it's easier for us to test this. So let's add a keyword trigger and I'm gonna use the nesting. By the way, I haven't edited this yet, so I must edit this. You are a male and you have a buyer tag because we have used all here. All conditions are met. As you can see here, next step if all conditions are true. But now, since we have used the all conditions are met on our option here, it means that even if our subscriber have a buyer tag but the subscriber is not a male, the condition would return false. So let's configure our condition here. Yo, first name, you are either, so we are gonna say here, you are either not a male or you do not have a buyer tag because we do not know. Since we have used all conditions are met on the condition type, then the response would return false if the subscriber is not a male or if the subscriber does not have a buyer tag. So let's confirm the changes. So let's save again and trigger our test keyword again. All right, now let's use nesting keyword to trigger our flow. All right, now let's choose multiple conditions. And as you can see, hey Calvin, you are a male and you have a buyer tag because indeed our subscriber have a buyer tag. Let's trigger our flow again here. Great, we have received our test message. This time, we are going to use conditions nesting. And as you can see here, hey Calvin, you have a buyer tag and you are a male, but your name does not have John. So it's all true because our subscriber indeed have a buyer tag here. As you can see on the nest, the subscriber have a buyer tag. The subscriber is a male, but since the subscriber does not have the name John, then this message was triggered. So let's try to change things up a bit. Let's try to remove the buyer tag by going to Facebook and Instagram and then subscribers. Then let's go to subscribers list, and on this subscriber, we are going to edit the tag. So let's edit and remove the buyer tag and submit. All right, so we have effectively removed the buyer tag. So let's type nesting. All right, so this is the test message. Let's trigger the condition nesting again. And as you can see here, good day, Calvin. You are a male, but you don't have a buyer tag. So it's true. So the condition element have successfully sent us the correct message. Now let's trigger testing again. And this time we are going to use multiple conditions again to check what message we received. Great, we have received the test message now. Yo, Calvin, you are either not a male or you do not have a buyer tag. All right, that marks the end of our lesson. I hope you learned a lot how to use conditions using nesting and using multiple conditions. So we are going to discuss more about elements in the flow builder on the next lesson, so stay tuned.